Good morning, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for joining me. Today is the first day of February 2022. So today I will share. I will start with a United Nations discussion on a serious issue, on the current serious issue on Ukraine. About the threat Russian forces creating on the border area or the threat of invading Ukraine. So I will start with that one. Then I will read other news. Then at the end, I have two more videos. Thank you again for joining me. Let's get started. There we go.
The Security Council heard two very different arguments about the situation in Eastern Europe. The US, which called this meeting, says the Russian military buildup around Ukraine is the largest mobilization of troops in Europe in decades.
Russia's aggression today not only threatens Ukraine, it also threatens Europe. It threatens the international order this body is charged with upholding. We continue to hope Russia chooses the path of diplomacy over the path of conflict in Ukraine. But we cannot just wait and see.
But Russia's ambassador, Vasily Nebenzia, says all his country's troops are on Russian soil. They're not close to the Ukrainian border, and there's absolutely no proof of a threat from them. He says the US and NATO were whipping up tensions as though they want there to be a war. Outside the council chamber, I pushed him further on this. Are there any circumstances in which Russian troops would cross the border into Ukraine? Can you just be clear for us?
I'm not the person to decide whatever happens, but we never, I said it in my statement, that no Russian politician or even a public figure ever said that we are planning to attack Ukraine.
A clear answer, it seemed, but then he added this.
We do not exclude provocations from Ukrainian side. And the separatist republics, they say they have information that such provocations may happen.
Russia had tried to prevent this meeting by calling a procedural vote at the start. 9 countries supported the US, but Russia was joined by China in objecting to the session, and 3 other Security Council members, Gabon, Kenya, and India, abstained. The meeting went ahead, but the procedural vote and the comments of many of the non-Western members of the Council should be noted. The US's aim here was to galvanize international opinion against what it says is the Russian threat. But to achieve a broad international consensus, it still has more work to do. James Bayes, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations.
We buy any cars! We buy any cars! We buy any cars! Penny!
They began arriving on Saturday.
Okay, I will come back to the other videos at the end. So that's the current international challenge we are facing. The situation between the NATO members and the Russian intention on Ukraine. Why Russia need all 100,000 soldiers, plus those military machineries, hardwares, all must close to the border of Ukraine. So that's the challenge. I hope it will be resolved peacefully through diplomacy. Otherwise, it's a very dangerous and a threat to the global community. So I'm following it, and I will report to you as it develops. Okay, here are the other news. Before I start reading, the conflict in northern part still continue. TDF is still in control of, I think, 3 or 4 towns in Afar region. So, and many thousands people displaced. So the conflict is still going on, and talk of negotiation also, on social media, discussion between Prosperity Party and TDF behind the closed door in Kenya, blah blah. It's nothing concrete yet, and the intention of the Prosperity Party to continue the war is still going on. So it's confusing from the federal government, and no sign of peace anyway. So the war is still going on, and thousands of people displaced already. Again, from Afar region, the number is about 200,000 plus. Okay, let's start. Appointment of Ambassador Jacobson as charge d'affaires at Embassy Addis Ababa. This is from Office of the Speaker, U.S. State Department. Ambassador Tracy Ann Jacobson, a career member of the Senior Foreign Service class of career minister, will serve as charge d'affaires ad interim at the embassy in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Ambassador Gita Pasi plans to retire to pursue other opportunities. Distinguished by her previous assignments, including as ambassador to Kosovo, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan, Ambassador Jacobson will lead U.S. engagement in Ethiopia. The Secretary of State selected Ambassador Jacobson to continue the work undertaken by Ambassador Pasi to press for an immediate cessation of hostilities, an end to ongoing human rights abuses and violations, unhindered humanitarian access, and a negotiated resolution to the conflict in Ethiopia. The Department of State expressed its great appreciation to Ambassador Pasi, a career member of the Senior Foreign Service class of career minister, for her distinguished public service in advancing the values and interests of the United States around the globe, a career marked by 3 ambassadorial assignments and senior State Department leadership positions in Washington, D.C. We are particularly grateful for her stewardship of Embassy Addis Ababa during an exceptionally complex period. Credit U.S. State Department. The next one is now about, we might already guess or know, without of proof of evidence or without evidence, which countries are supplying Ethiopia Prime Minister with the drones. So this is a BBC reality check based on some flight investigation, tracking flight. They established, which countries are those drones, coming from. So, Tigray conflict. Who is sending armored drones to Ethiopia? Roughly we know, but we don't have a proof. But now this one with some kind of proof by investigating the drone parts, the remaining after the explosion, after killing all civilians, and where those drones are parked, which airport, and what are the cargo shipment from these different countries. So our guess is correct. Iran, United Arab Emirates, Turkey are the most, and the Chinese. These are the countries supplying drones to Ethiopia, to Prime Minister, and causing all these civilian deaths and the destruction of properties. Let me quickly read. BBC report established credible evidence where these drones came from by using satellite images, images of the aftermath, fragment of drones or wing pieces, missile fragment, tail pipes, and using other part. So they established some kind of credible evidence from which country these drones are coming. Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drones based at Bahir Dar on Ethiopian Air Force Base. Second, Iranian Mohajir 6 drone was used in the Gidami area, East Wallagga, Oromia region. Stationed at Harar Meda Airport, a flight tracking investigator has identified about 15 cargo flights from Iran to Harar Meda and Bole International Airport in August 2021. What they were carrying is not known because these reporters, these investigators, they don't involve on loading and unloading those cargos. But 15 Iranian cargo flights entering Ethiopia in August 2021. Alamata, Tigray drone attack in December 2021 killed 28 civilians in a marketplace. On this one, Chinese-made Blue Arrow 7 missiles that can be mounted on a drone. Where they stationed? Harar Meda Military Air Base. These are Chinese manufacturer Wing Lung drones. And also, United Arab Emirates has both Wing Lung drones and Blue Arrow missiles. Flight data research shows 119 cargo flights over a period of 5 months last year from United Arab Emirates Military Airport to Harar Meda Air Base, southeast of Addis Ababa. Harar Meda Air Base is located southeast of Addis Ababa, and Bole International Airport. So 119 flights from United Arab Emirates arrived in Ethiopia within 5 months. 5 months. So most probably the majority of drones are supplied by United Arab Emirates, and our guess is right. So what we have to do, thanks to BBC and based on different investigation, flight data, and research on the remains of these missiles and wing part. So what now we know, these are the countries supplying. These are the countries supplying and for the conduct of genocide in Ethiopia, for the killing of civilians. And still they are. Last, I think yesterday or before yesterday, the Prime Minister was in Dubai again, not for investment, but to buy drones again. You know, he got 90 billion defense money now, so he can pay them to get more drones. So what concerned citizens media suggest is we should call on United Nations, USA, United European Union, and others concerned countries to call for embargo, armed embargo on Ethiopia. That's the best thing. That's the best thing, because civilians are dying, and public properties are destroyed. So that's why we have to call USA, European Union, United Nations, and others to create some kind of armed embargo on Ethiopia. And also, if possible, if this thing continue, call for a no-fly zone. No-fly zone. This could save life, civilian lives. The other thing is to continue protest and exposing these countries' involvement in genocide. There are already some, Tigrayan activists already doing it, but we have to do it until this atrocity stop, until this supply of drones. We have to oppose China, we have to oppose Iran, we have to oppose Turkey, we have to oppose the United Arab Emirates. We have to, ask them, demand to stop supplying their drones to Abiy Ahmed, to Ethiopia, because these drones are destroying lives. These are the, some of the strategies we have to continue to apply until, a peaceful government established in Ethiopia. Until then, we have to continue the pressure, protest at embassies of Chinese, Turkey, Iran, United Arab Emirates, demand they stop the supply of drones. Okay. This is good news. US shares additional 1,680,120 doses of Pfizer vaccine with Ethiopia. This is a positive news. The US is doing a lot to help Ethiopia and other African countries. We should appreciate that. The Embassy of the United States in Ethiopia is pleased to announce the arrival of 1,680,120 doses of the Pfizer vaccine that the United States is providing to Ethiopia through COVAX. We are sharing these doses safely, equitably, and with no strings attached. Our singular objective is saving lives. These two shipments of 840,060 doses each, which arrived at the Bole International Airport in Addis Ababa via COVAX on January 24 and 26, 2022. Bring the number of doses of vaccines provided to Ethiopia by the American people to over 6.1 million since July 17, 2021. Safe and effective vaccines are our best tool to end the pandemic, and the United States has committed to purchasing and donating 1.1 billion COVID-19 vaccine doses worldwide. To date, the United States has delivered more than 365 million doses of vaccine to more than 110 countries. The commitment to provide COVID-19 vaccines to 92 Gavi Advanced Market Commitment economies and African Union member states fulfills US President Biden's commitment to strengthen the fight against the global pandemic, a statement from the US Embassy in Addis Ababa said. As President Biden has said, the United States is committed to bringing the same urgency to international vaccination efforts that we have demonstrated at home. We are sharing these vaccines to save lives and to lead the world in bringing an end to the pandemic. We look forward to continue coordination with the African Union and the Africa CDC to deliver these doses across the continent through the COVAX initiative via their establishment logistical channels. So credit for this at this standard. Thank you, the United States, for saving lives in Ethiopia and around the world. The United States supports of ECOWAS and African Union action on Burkina Faso. This is a press statement from Office of the spokesperson, United States State Department. The United States supports the actions announced by the African Union on January 31st and the action taken by the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, on January 28 in defense of democracy and the rule of law in Burkina Faso. While sympathetic to the plight of the Burkinabé people and the security forces, we share the concerns African leaders articulated regarding the action of military officials in Burkina Faso, chiefly the suspension of the constitution and the removal of the democratically elected president and the National Assembly. While some elements of the constitution may have been restored, extra-constitutional seizures of power erode the legitimacy of governance and limit the ability of the United States and other international partners to help the country advance peace and security. We underscore ECOWAS' call for release of President Marc Christian Kaboro and other members of the government who are unjustly detained and for the return to constitutional order in Burkina Faso. We look forward to the reports from the mission to Burkina Faso of ECOWAS Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff and the Joint ECOWAS Ministerial Mission. That's the press release from U.S. State Department. French ambassador expelled from Mali. Mali military leaders are expelling the French ambassador over what they called outrageous comments made by the French foreign minister about the transitional government. France said it was recalling Joël Meyer, who was given 72 hours to leave. Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian last week said the Mali junta was illegitimate and out of control. Western powers are also concerned about Russia's growing involvement in the former French colony. Moscow reportedly sent military advisors in recent weeks to bolster local security forces in their fight with jihadist insurgents. Unconfirmed reports say hundreds of Russian mercenaries are also operating in the country. France, which intervened in 2013 to support the government against the jihadists, plans to reduce its own troop development. In another interview, Mr. Le Drian accused Russian mercenaries of helping themselves to the country's resources in exchange for protecting the junta. Relations between France and Mali, a landlocked country in West Africa, which is one of the world's poorest nations, have deteriorated since the army seized power in August 2020. Tension increased further this month when the junta reversed an agreement to arrange election in February and vote to hold power until 2025. French Defense Minister Florence Parly accused Mali's rulers of stepping up provocation against his country. Mr. Mayor was summoned and notified of a decision by the government inviting him to leave the national territory within 72 hours following hostile and outrageous comment by the French Foreign Affairs Minister recently, the Malian government said in a statement read out on national television. The French Foreign Ministry confirmed it was recalling the ambassador soon after. France stepped in 2013 after Islamist militants overran parts of the north with the help of France. Mali's army has recaptured the territory, but militias are waging an increasingly bloody insurgence across the Sahel region. France also has troops in Niger and Burkina Faso, which are also fighting jihadist insurgency. BBC credited for this one. Islamic insurgency in West Africa and giving an excuse for military coup, maybe. Israel president makes first visit to the United Arab Emirates. Israel President Isaac Herzog arrived in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, on Sunday for his first visit to the Gulf nation, according to Anadolu report. Herzog and his wife were welcomed upon arrival at Abu Dhabi airport by Emirati Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullahi bin Ziyad, the official Israeli Khan channel reported. This morning, I am embarking on a historic trip to the United Arab Emirates, Herzog said in a statement issued by his office before leaving to the United Arab Emirates. Herzog tweeted that he had a warm reception upon his arrival in Abu Dhabi for his two-day visit. The Israeli president is expected to meet with top Emirati officials for talks on strengthening economic relations between the two countries. He will also visit Israel's pavilion at Expo 2020 in Dubai. Last month, Israel Prime Minister Naftali Bennett visited the United Arab Emirates, the first such visit by an Israeli premier to the Gulf nation. In September 2020, the United Arab Emirates and Israel signed a US-sponsored deal to normalize their relation. Since then, The two countries exchanged official visits by senior officials and have signed dozens of bilateral agreements in various fields, including investment, banking service, and tourism. Three other Arab states, Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan, joined the United Arab Emirates in the controversial move that came to be known as the Abraham Accord. So that's, good diplomatic relationship between Israel and the Arab world. Usually, the Arab world considers Israel the enemy of Arabs. Now that is changing. But Israel rejected selling Iron Dome defense system to United Arab Emirates. So they are not still established bonding and sharing technology. So Israel refused to sell the drone technology, the Iron Dome, to defend United Arab Emirates from maybe Houthis drones, and claiming selling, the technology secret could be passed to a third party. So instead of doing that, Israel chose to lose 4.5 billion in this transaction. Israel could get this money if they transfer that drone and Iron Dome to United Arab Emirates. So instead, no. Israel rejected to protect the secrecy and ignore this much money. This is U.S. condemning Houthis missile attack again at Abu Dhabi. U.S. condemned Houthis missile attack at Abu Dhabi. The United States on Monday condemned the Iranian-backed Yemen-based Houthis missile attack on Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates. We condemn the latest Houthi missile attack on Abu Dhabi, State Department spokesman Ned Price said on Twitter. While Israeli president is visiting the United Arab Emirates to build bridges and promote stability across the region, the Houthis continue to launch attacks that threaten civilians, Price wrote. The United Arab Emirates air defense intercepted and destroyed a ballistic missile launched by the Houthi terrorist group towards the country, the defense ministry said in a statement on Sunday. No damage was caused by the attack. It added that debris fell in an populated area and there were no casualties. The attack came on the same night that Israel President Isaac Herzog met with Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan on his first official visit to the United Arab Emirates as the country's head of state. Herzog will not interrupt his visit, presidential spokesperson Elon Levy told Anadu agency, adding, the visit is expected to continue as planned. Yemen has been engulfed by violence and instability since 2014. How many years? Almost, 8? Almost 8 years. When Iran-aligned Houthi rebels captured much of the country, including the capital Sana'a. So they are still in turmoil. The country is destroyed. And even Ethiopians killed in this operation by this attack. Ethiopians, decide to leave the country because of the situation and they stay there so they can get a pass to other countries. They lost their life. And still the war is going on between Houthis and the group supported by United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and other countries. No ending sight. This is a press release by U.S. State Department on Lunar New Year. Lunar New Year. I send my best wishes to those in the United States and around the world celebrating the Lunar New Year on February 1. As we reflect on the year behind us and welcome the year ahead of us, the United States will continue to work to advance a peaceful and a prosperous future. We welcome all nations and peoples to join us in the effort to build a better world for future generations. May the year of the tiger bring opportunity, success, and good health to all. Thank you, Secretary Blinken, for this, excellent wishes for a new lunar year. So this lunar New Year is usually celebrated in Southeast Asia, East and Southeast Asia, usually influenced by Chinese lunisolar calendar. So countries like Singapore, China, Vietnam, Korea, Taiwan are, and the others celebrating the New Year today. And the biggest celebration is also in the United States in Manhattan in New York, because of the large community from Southeast and East Asia countries, Chinese and others. If you visited New York, you will see it. Chinatown. If you go Chinatown, so it will be celebrated and with a big parade, and that's the biggest celebration outside the East and Southeast Asian countries. So that's all I have for reading. Let's share a couple of videos and end today's presentation. There you go. These are two short videos, so we'll be done soon. There you go. Come on.
Saturday, dozens of trucks and other vehicles lining up at southern Alberta's busy Canada-US border crossing.
What we'd like to see is everything go back to the way it was in 2019 before all this started. All the mandates lifted, all the restrictions gone, and that put into legislation so this does not happen again.
Over the weekend, an Alberta government MLA joined the protests, sharing on social media, "I brought the grandkids down to the Coutts border today to show them the importance of standing up for freedom and liberty."
This is going to be an issue that our caucus needs to talk about. I think disappointed that Grant Hunter made the decision to go there and participate in that illegal blockade.
The blockade must end immediately, Kenny said on social media Sunday, before adding operational enforcement decisions are the responsibility of police services. RCMP say they're working to bring about a peaceful resolution, but protesters aren't backing down. It's important to note that not every truck stuck in this lineup is a part of the protest. In fact, we spoke with a number of truckers who are now stuck here and just want to get home.
I'm stuck like about 3 days. No shower, nothing, anything.
Do you feel safe?
No, anybody, no safe.
Carrying loads of goods intended for Calgary grocery stores, several truckers tell Global News they feel like hostages caught up in a blockade that does not represent them.
I'm carrying produce from Sacramento, California to Calgary. I crossed the border on Saturday. I'm over 40 hours right now here, stuck and just crossed the border.
If they have a freedom not to vaccinate, where's my freedom? I support them, but I'm the one who's stuck here. Who's suffering? Me?
By Monday afternoon, some of the truckers trapped in the protest were allowed to return to Calgary via a back road, unable to complete their American-bound deliveries as originally planned. RCMP say they continue to negotiate with protest organizers to try and find a peaceful resolution to this border blockade. But police warn that if one cannot be found, they will move in and remove protesters by force if required. Donna?
All right, Heather Yorks West, thanks.
Okay, one more short video.
Is that throw?
Imported from Portugal. Got it at Marshall's for a total steal.
Okay, there's the last one.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I would like to make a statement. And first, I want to express my deepest gratitude to Sue Gray and all the people who have contributed to this report, which I have placed in the library of this House and which the government has published in full today for everyone to read. I will address its findings in this statement, but firstly, I want to say sorry. And I'm sorry for the things we simply didn't get right, and also sorry for the way that this matter has been handled. And it's no use saying that this or that was within the rules, and it's no use saying that people were working hard. This pandemic was hard for everyone. We asked people across this country to make the most extraordinary sacrifices, not to meet loved ones, not to visit relatives before they died. And I understand the anger that people feel. But, Mr. Speaker, it isn't enough to say sorry. This is a moment when we must look ourselves in the mirror and we must learn. And while the Metropolitan Police must yet complete their investigation, and that means there are no details of specific events in Sue Gray's report, I, of course, accept Sue Gray's general findings in full. Mr. Speaker, I get it, and I will fix it. And I want to say, to the people of this country, I know what the issue is. Yes, Mr. Speaker, yes. It's whether this government can be trusted to deliver. And I say, Mr. Speaker, yes, we can be trusted. Yes, we can be trusted to deliver.
Call Keir Starmer the leader of the opposition.
There is evidence of serious and flagrant breaches of lockdown, including the party on the 20th of May 2020, which we know the Prime Minister attended, and the party on the 13th of November 2020 in the Prime Minister's flat. There can be no doubt that the Prime Minister himself is now subject to criminal investigation.
Okay, so
Thanks, sir.
So that's really interesting. I like the discussion. I like the UK Parliament discussion, and it's open and it's brutal. Also, educational. So Boris Johnson, UK Prime Minister, what he did have a party, private party, when the country was locked down by the order he established. Anybody die? No. Anybody hurt? No. But he violated the rules for the rules he created for the country, for the whole country. He enjoyed himself, and he break the lockdown rules. So that kind of, parliament, I wish we create in Ethiopia, making our leaders accountable for their actions. And when they lie, you force them to apologize, you force them to resign. That is the accountability. But what's happening in Ethiopia now? Our leaders are liars, their advisors are liars, their party members are liars. Repeatedly, the military leaders are liars. No one accounted for. And their actions destroyed the country, especially after Abiy Ahmed came in power. The whole region is burning. Ethiopia is burning. Did anyone hold them accountable? No. The damages, when it compared to Boris Johnson having a private party and what's happening in Ethiopia, is nothing. Nothing. You know, we can easily excuse to have a private party, but the rules are, different. The UK system has much better accountability than Ethiopia. He could be forced to resign. We're gonna follow it. Maybe they call on him. He apologized now for misconduct, and they might demand his resignation because he break the rules. So what I'm saying is, what he did in comparison with the Ethiopian leaders is nothing. It's a very imminent. Nobody died, nobody hurt, no property damaged, and he just break the lockdown and have a birthday party with a group. So that's accountability. We have to all accountable for the rule of law. But we are missing this, and we have to work on this one to make our leaders accountable. When they lie, hold them accountable so that they will not lie to us again, to the also to the global community. So if they lie again, you hold them to resign. Ask them to resign and replace, them with other credible leaders. And whenever they make a mistake, you have to hold them accountable. That's accountability when you are a leader of, in a leadership position. So Ethiopians, we have to wake up and just, stop this group supporting and just because of minor group interest. If you are looking for a country, you have to open your mind, see what's happening, how your leaders are doing the business of the leadership, governing the country. You have to see. If that is not the right direction, you have to stand against them and force them to resign and at least ask them to apologize. Ambassador Dina Mufti was lying, Bacha Dabale, and Branu Jula, all the Prime Minister, all of them, including the religious advisors, all of them, it's became normal now. Nobody is accounted for. So that's a very bad. And now, because of their lies and because of misconduct, thousands and thousands of people displaced. And thousands of people died. And the country is destroyed. The country is still bleeding. So we have to learn how to make our leaders accountable. That's a very important message. And if the rules are broken, we have to make them accountable. Just like the UK Parliament and other developed countries. Thank you. I will be back with other news and updates. So long, everyone, and be safe.